right, y'all. Welcome to our first episode of the For the Seabirds podcast. I am Danae,
I am Reggie Hamilton.
and we are here with our first guest, where we are planning on reconnecting some guys. We've been walking around the school, feeling nostalgic and just enjoying things and taking things in because we truly feel like this is the blue and gold standard of the South Suburbs, right? We are proud alumni, and we are here to talk about some of our things with more alumni.
So today's guest is not only a proud graduate of this school,
Proud.
but he is the current principal of Thornwood High School, and it's my pleasure to welcome Principal Don Holmes.
Greetings, and thank you guys for the invite. I am so happy to be here with both of you all today.
Thank you. Now, are you Dr. Holmes?
Not yet, so you mentioned it, so I will put it out there. I am working on a doctorate. If all goes as planned by December of 26, I will have those letters behind my name.
Right.
Amen.
Yes, congratulations.
Definitely,
I know it's
definitely.
gonna be here soon.
That's what I'm
Thank
talking
you
about.
for being here. So in addition, you were a Thornwood parent also.
I am, so actually all three of my children have graduated here. Don graduated in 2017. He is now 26. Devin graduated in 2019. He's 24, and I've got a baby girl, Brooklyn. She graduated in 2021. However, she's got Down syndrome. So as you guys know, we have the adult transition program.
Yeah.
So she's still here in the building with us now.
That's so cool. So you cover all the grounds.
That and the wife
Right,
came out of here.
right,
So
right,
when we
right.
talk about bleeding blue and gold, yeah, cut me, you'll see it. It's there.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about your Thornwood journey, just overall. When did you graduate?
Oh my goodness, the mighty class of 1994 was the graduation year. Times were definitely different than they are now. This kind of predated. So when we talk about technology, we were just talking to your technician here. We talk about technology. This was the time where pagers were still in. And my mom would let me have a pager though, because she said it made you look like a drug dealer. So I did sneak a couple of pagers in the house. But no, it was really a great era for culture and arts and athletics and of course academics around here, and we still are on that same path, but I definitely miss those times.
Yeah, wow, that's cool.
Yes. So
Thank you for listening, alumni fam. And while we have you, if you're looking to take your next event to the next level, whether it's a reunion, a wedding, a corporate mixer, or just a crazy backyard party, let me put you on a Sips with Shauna, your go-to mobile bartending service. Shauna brings the bar to you, literally. Fully licensed, totally mobile, and 100% unforgettable. For custom cocktail menus and hands-on cocktail making classes, she brings flavor, flair, and fun. No boring bar setups, just premium service with personality. For your events, private parties, team building workshops, whatever you're planning, Sips with Shauna pours up great vibes and great drinks. Book now and learn more by emailing sipswithshauna@gmail.com. You can also follow her at Instagram at sipswithshauna for a taste of what you're missing. Sips with Shauna, elevate your event one sip at a time with this class of 2012 Thornwood alumni, Deshauna Russell.
walk me through some of your favorite times during that era of being a Thunderbird.
Well, as I'm speaking to two former scholar athletes, as you all were, you know that with that title comes a little bit of extra privilege, right? But also a little bit more responsibility. So for me, some of my best friends, I'm still best friends with today. Obviously, the times on the football field and the playoffs, the track championships with Coach Hopper. Everybody is aware of Coach Hopper.
Like this used to be Coach Hopper.
Yes. So for me, it's just the times with friends, some of the phenomenal teachers like Mr. Tufty, radio and TV teacher that we had back in the day, and just reliving some of those moments. And, being the principal now, seeing students go through those moments, it's a reminder every day about the blessing that I have, the opportunity that our students have before them, and the future that our community looks to have with these leaders that are in the building. So it comes full circle for me.
So are there any teachers that work here when you were a student?
Great question. So I'll say yes, but I have to preclude that with something. You all know Mrs. Griggs has retired 3 times already. Yeah, she's been retired.
At one point, I know they went on a cruise.
Right,
for one of her
right,
retirements. Like, yeah.
Even though she is officially retired, we do hire her as a consultant, so she works a couple of days out the week, and she's still our head cheer coach.
Okay.
She would be she would be the one who I think is still here from my time. Now I know I graduated in 94, but in 94, 95, we got a lot of new teachers that year. We probably still have about 5 or 6 of them hanging around. Mr. Windorf, you guys may be aware of. Miss Scaletta, Deb Scaletta, who's also a Thunderbird grad herself, scholar athlete herself. She played basketball here. Mr. Zalewski. There may be a handful of other ones that are still around from that era, yeah.
I think that's a testament of how great of a place this is.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to leave?
Oh, 100%. And when you look at our teacher retention rate, we're at 92% right now.
That's
so we
awesome.
do a phenomenal job of keeping teachers.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Is anyone from your class working here?
You know, I would have to look at the list, but Mr. Holmes.
I can say yes.
Yes.
Actually, directly from Danae's class, Bianca Davis
Oh,
is
yeah,
now
yeah.
a PE and health teacher here.
Bianca
She's
was
doing.
actually registered.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, she was your class,
Yeah,
Red?
yeah. Oh.
She's a phenomenal health and PE teacher for us here. Matter of fact, and her son attends this school too, so she's doing
Bentley.
some great things.
Shout out to Ben.
I don't think any more from you guys' era.
Wait, she's one of your Miss Buckley.
That's right.
Yeah, Miss
So two then, Kayla Buckley and Katrina Buckley. Katrina Buckley is our art teacher.
God.
She's got a sister who's here that is also a cheerleading coach for us, and she looks to take over the cheer program whenever Mrs. Griggs decides to put it down. So Kayla and Katrina are here with us as well. Yep.
Nice. So could Don Holmes in 94 could have ever imagined that he was going to be the principal
No.
of this place?
No. No. In 1994, I had my eyes, my heart, and mind set on being a professional football player in the NFL. And after realizing that I had a split hairline fracture in my L5 column, I had to fall back on my degree. And because I had 2 boys at the time that were in the school system, I wanted to match my time with something that would allow me to be with them, to coach them. And so I got into the education field. First, through my interactions with you, that was kind of my opening as a suspension coordinator. After that, I went and got my master's in Type 75, became a dean at Hillcrest High School. Did that for 9 years, was the lead dean over there under the principalship of Dr. Renee Sims, one of my best mentors ever. And then I had an opportunity to come back here as an assistant principal. So October 14th of 2014, I started that journey back, and the rest is history.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you just mentioned a little bit about going off to college as an athlete.
Yes.
What was that time like? Like, talk us through recruitment. Like, who were you thinking about? Was it Northwestern? I didn't tell to see.
It was, you know what, it was a very exciting time, and not to toot my own horn, but a highly recruited athlete, with the exception of the 2 schools I wanted to go to most, which was Michigan and Florida State. Not a letter from them.
Man.
But when I tell you everybody else, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, of course, Northwestern. And so what led me to make that decision? Well, obviously Northwestern was one of the top 10 academic schools in the United States at the time. It really was, though, my position coach, Ron Vanderlinden, who actually came here to recruit me himself. I remember he came to the cafeteria. He met my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife. And I thought that was really cool. He and Coach Brandon. I thought that was really cool that he would take time out to meet your girlfriend. He and Barnett made it to my house later on that week, and partly because of the academic opportunities that it had to offer, partly because I had an opportunity to go there and start immediately in the Big Ten. At the time, Northwestern had not gained the notoriety athletically that we have today, and it was a big decision to go to a school that wasn't winning. But when I met my potential teammates, on the recruiting visits and saw what the class that I would potentially come in with, and then realized, hey, you got an opportunity to start in the Big Ten. So you're starting against people like Ron Dane and Tom Brady, like you'll be starting against them. And then it being 45 minutes away from the home, so I could still get back and forth to my girl. Northwestern became the obvious decision for me, and man, that whole experience in itself, having the opportunity to start in the Rose Bowl, to win the Big Ten championship 2 years, it was just a phenomenal opportunity.
Man, yeah. That's awesome, man. So walk us through how did your path lead you back here to Thornwood?
So that's a great question. So again, I think when I came back, when I finished playing football and realized that I had a broken back, I could no longer count on that to support my family. So at the time, I remember I was personal training. I was working at Aunt Martha's Youth Services in a group home, and I was also the suspension coordinator here. And I also was a football coach here. So at one point in time, I was maintaining 4 jobs just to try to take care of my family. And doing that, you know, as a young cat, you can do that for a while, but there's a certain thing of burning the candle on both ends, and I found myself doing that. So again, I fell back on education. Like I said, went back and got my master's, type 75 administrative degree, and I was offered a position at Hillcrest High School by another one of my mentors, Dr. Anthony Edison. He is a superintendent in one of the school districts now, and after doing that for 9 years, I had always been in conversation with Darcel Williams. I think was that you all's principal? Did you guys have Mrs. Williams? It might have been Regis.
Yeah.
Always been in conversation with her about openings that had happened here. Once she, I think she retired as principal and Mr. Willis took over, I was in constant conversation. Hey, if something opens up, let me know. And I got a call from him one day. Hey, Holmes, I got a position for you. I said, what is it? He said, assistant principal over discipline. Oh, I'm licking my chops. Told me what the salary was, and like I say, the rest was history. Got over here, made a huge impact. We, in 2012, 2013, District 205 was the #2 district in the nation for the suspension of students of color. Let me run that back for you all one more time. 2012, 2013, printed in the Chicago Tribune. Thornton Township High School District 205 was the #2 district in the nation for the suspension of students of color.
Wow.
When I came in 2014, we reduced out-of-school suspension by 75%. One of the major reasons we were able to do that is due to the implementation of restorative justice. I work with a phenomenal team of administrators, teachers, and support staff here, and together we were able to implement restorative justice practices to reduce the out-of-school suspension challenge that we were seeing take place.
And do you feel like your background of knowing the layout of the land of this building kind of helped with that success as well? Like you being able to relate to these kids of walking the same hallways that they've walked and having the same, you know, sort of experiences?
I do to an extent, but remember when we started talking, even before we started filming, how much things have changed, right? So when I was a student here, you know, it was probably 65, 70% Caucasian students to 30, 35% African American. When I returned in 2000, it was a different school, and that's not a bad thing. It just means that the culture has shifted a bit, right? And in order to make sure that the students understood what the expectations were, what opportunities that they had in front of them, seeing somebody that resembled them, I think, had a huge impact for them. And I'm a principal. I pride myself in spending time with the students. That's the most favorite part of this job, interacting with them. And in those interactions, they tell you what they need. They tell you what they want, whether or not they want to or not. And it's our job to listen to that and to try to match our resources, to try to match our intentions so that we can continue to allow them to find out what their passions are. Because when you find your passion, if you can work in your passion, it's no longer work, right? I think that's the biggest goal here. Obviously, we've got an overarching goal that all of our students, by the time they graduate, have a plan to be enrolled, enlisted, or employed, right? So that's enrolled in a 2 or 4 year college or university or trade school, enlisted into one of the armed or civil services, or employed with a living wage job. They're listed that way based off of how hard it is to accomplish one. employed is hard after high school in a living wage job. There are steps most people have to take before they have a living wage job with employment. So even though that's our overarching goal, I want them to find out who they are and find out what their passion is, so we can match passions with what our resources are. And if we can do that, I think we will have a better community and a better world.
Yeah, and one of the things that stood out that you mentioned is the kids being able to see someone in leadership that looked like themselves. Now, from my experience when I was here, and I seen gentlemen like yourself come back, Coach Blair,
Yes.
Mr. Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor, then I think Dan Eves came.
Denard,
in,
yeah,
Denard Eves, I'm sorry, Coach Eves. It was inspiring for me to see people in those positions. So, I appreciate that, as you all played a huge role in my tenure here at Thornwood and after Thornwood.
That means a lot. And shout out to all those gentlemen that you just mentioned. They are definitely important parts of this Thunderbird community. Coach Blair right now is teaching child care for us.
I saw his name.
Yeah, he's teaching. That's his room right up there. Mr. Snyder now has his doctorate. He's teaching the Spanish class. Mr. Taylor is still here. And so we definitely appreciate their presence and their interactions.
I think something that I remember, I don't know if this was just a trial, but we had the houses, right?
Ah, yes.
Arts and Communication, Health and Human Services. I was in Health and Human Services, and I'm an educator now, so I feel like a lot of my interests at that time were brought out, or somebody saw it in me. I don't even know how you all assign people to whatever houses they were. Clearly, they got it right with me. So I'm appreciative.
Yeah, no, and that house structure you're talking about, that was a goal, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that the administration at the time were trying to match students to their passion, right? Based off of data that they had. So it sounds like it worked out well for you.
Right.
Good deal.
Clearly you said bleeding blue and gold, right? So how would you say that your time here has shaped you personally, professionally, and just as a parent? I feel like you could talk from so many different angles.
Wow. From a personal perspective, I think Thornwood High School means more to me than anybody on this planet. And the reason I say that is due to my connections to this place. I sit here, a kid from the south side of Chicago, grew up on 93rd and Emerald till the time I was 12. And my parents made a decision at that time to move to South Holland. That decision, we were the sixth black family on Luella. I became a South Holland Jet 2 weeks after that move, so it introduced me, right? It introduced me to the game of football, which for me was a launching pad for a lot of other things that I experienced in my life. And so to have it have that much impact at the age of 12, right? And then obviously through the high school years to help form my thoughts and my opinions on, where I wanted to go to college at, and then to have my own kids graduate from this place, and then to have this be the occupation that allows me to take care of my family. I have a great respect for this place, a great admiration, and I feel connected wholeheartedly. And I don't think that anybody else on this planet would have that same type of connection. You know what I mean?
It definitely feels good walking in the door. It's like when I came in, I'm like, wow, I haven't been here. My little sister went here. My mom still lives in South Holland, so it's like, this is home.
Yes.
All right, so let's switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
Comparing some eras. So I'm a 2006 graduate.
2007
2007,
94.
So what do you say are the biggest changes that you see just over time from 94, if you could talk a little bit about that, in between time and then now?
Technology and culture.
Yeah.
I'll start with culture. It feels like, and I've got phenomenal parents right now, it just feels like we had a lot more parental involvement in the 90s and the early 2000s as compared to now. But with that said, the parents that are involved are outstanding. Very quality parents. They want the best for their kids. That would be one of the biggest shifts that I've seen. The other would be cultural. And when I talk about culture, we talked about how some of the demographics have shifted, but more specifically, the impact that technology has had on culture. So we opened up talking about pagers, right? We got these devices here right now. Can you guys imagine? And actually, we were at the age, you guys are at the age where you potentially could have.
I had a phone.
Did you have a phone?
But it was green screen.
Okay. So could you guys imagine the technology that we have now in the classroom, in your classrooms?
Yeah, crazy.
So just the access that our students have to the outside world. And I think as a school, we do a phenomenal job of increasing the opportunities that our students have to learn past the brick and mortar of this building. You know, we just talked, we're on spring break right now. I've got 2 sets of classes out right now. One is a culinary arts class. They're in Paris.
Wow.
The other is a fashion design class. They're in Italy. So we continue to send students past the brick and mortar of this place to extend the learning. But when we talk about technology and the access to information that students have at their fingertips right now, I think that's been the biggest change. And I think we all know they don't necessarily all use it for positive stuff.
Yeah.
And so obviously there are some negative interactions that are happening on social media that you all didn't have back in your day. Definitely not back in my day. When we ended the school day, if you weren't an athlete and you got home at 3 o'clock, the school day was over.
Right.
If you were an athlete, you got home at 7 o'clock, it was over. Well, now, you know, the school day may be over, but students are still going at it back and forth. So that would be one of the biggest changes that I see.
And that's amazing that like these kids are getting those experiences early in their
That's all they know.
Yeah, like in Paris at the age of
Right,
15,
yeah,
16
yeah,
years old,
yeah.
in Italy.
Yeah.
It took me 20 years so I left here damn near to reach those heights. So that's huge that you're able to bless those kids with those experiences.
100. We're really happy about that. And shout out to Chef Nicholas Bell, our culinary arts teacher who has our students right now, and Mrs. Souffrant, who is our French teacher who has some students out. Shout out to them.
So, question: what are some things that we all don't like change sometimes? What are you thankfully that has not changed here about Thornwood?
Oh, real quick, Mrs. Muhammad, who helped to schedule that trip for the fashion design class. Didn't want to forget about her. She's also a Thunderbird grad. I'm sorry, one more time, Reg, what was the question?
Just some things that you're thankfully that haven't shifted or changed with the Thornwood.
Hall parades. We still do the Thunderbird Hall parades.
Love it.
We still have our homecoming events. We've got, well, I guess the mascot has kind of been updated. Did you guys have Bruno as well?
Bruno is him right there.
Yes,
Man,
okay.
yes,
So we still have Bruno, our mascot.
They switched it up. And I know
A tad bit.
backlash.
Yeah. I'm glad we went back to where we at. I don't know who about that.
That's
So let's
fine.
talk about that real quick, because that was something that I actually spearheaded after hearing from several alumni about just not being in favor of the chicken hair. We call it the chicken hair now, right?
Exactly what it is.
So shout out to our Board of Education and my superintendent, Dr. Nathaniel Cunningham, for supporting the effort to bring back the traditional Thunderbird. I think officially we brought it back in 2022, and really glad to have that thing back. So
100%.
I didn't know he had a name.
yeah, Bruno.
Yeah, we love Bruno. If anybody else trying to do that chicken head stuff, like,
Say it's out the window.
let's leave that alone.
Because it looks kind of like the Denver Bronco head. Maybe. I don't know. It's like, whatever. It's gone now.
I was not a fan of that at all.
Played with that on your chest.
No, I don't think I had the. No, I did not have that chicken head because I remember being away when I first was introduced to it, and I'm just like, "What is going on? What is going on?"
I remember the group chats popping. Like, y'all seen this?
Ooh,
like, who was this?
yeah.
Sarah Juliet. She was one of them.
Yeah,
take it.
that was a big topic
Yeah, it
for
was.
the alumni
Oh, yeah.
when that change happened. So glad that we got Bruno
Right.
back.
Is there anything from your high school time that you would, obviously you have the power to bring anything back, but that you would want to implement with the current population?
From my high school time, I would say that with it being 2025, obviously, like you said, the bones and the structure of the building are still here. A lot of the traditions that we had, we still celebrate. Uh, I think we bought enough of the past to where we are right now. And again, I really want to be mindful with hearing my students and their needs, and what's going to help them be successful. I think we've got to do more as far as planning for the future and making sure they have the skills and knowledge to be successful in it. So, outside of the physical structure with the rec center didn't used to be there. When I was a student, there used to be parking lot, right? We could use some of that parking space back, but outside of that, no, I think we're doing okay.
Cool.
So I'm glad that you bring up the future. Now that you are leading the charge, like what is some of your plans or what is your vision for the future of Thornwood?
Man, again, really just to make sure that we can align our students' passions with the resources we have here to allow them to pursue them. Obviously, being a former scholar athlete, I definitely want our athletic programs coming back. It's something that is near and dear to me. But what I've realized, being in this position, a lot of things can't happen like that, right? There's got to be a lot of planning, a lot of preparation. There's a political lens there. I know you know about this, Danae. Being a former athletic director,
I'm currently
a current athletic director, there's oftentimes a political lens that you have to operate within that impacts how you move, and just kind of understanding that. Definitely want to bring us back as an athletic powerhouse. Academically, we are on the path to get back. We offer so many programs here. We have the the IB program. We've got AVID. We've got AP. So any academic program that a student wants to get involved in, we have it here. Want to get our speech program back to where we were top in the state, right? And so some of those things are going to take time, but we've got good people in position to make it happen. I just want to continue supporting them, continue to make sure they have the resources they need, and continuing evaluating, because it's going to be the evaluation process that identifies whether or not we're moving in the right direction or whether or not we have the right people to move in the right direction.
Tough conversations.
Yeah.
This is not a fair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What are you most proud of? I know it's difficult to narrow it down because there's so much to choose from. Like sending kids, which I imagine are primarily Black kids, to Paris in high school is wild, right?
Yeah.
Sending kids to Italy, like that's huge.
Yeah.
But you've seen so much. So what is something you can give us top 3 proud moments you've had as a principal?
So top 3 proud. Getting our graduation rate back close to 90% and on path to surpassing that, really proud of. Tops in this district, right? Proud of our girls track team in 18-19. They were number 2 in the state. So girls, you guys took a walk around.
Yeah.
It was the girls who impacted our track program the way that they did. We sent 2 that year to Ole Miss on 4-ride scholarships, and both of them, Jasmine Mitchell, who's a thrower, and another thrower, her name escapes me right now, don't kill me, were number 1 and 2 in the nation at one point in time, right? That's awesome. So that's a proud moment. Obviously being a former captain of the football team here, right? The new turf field that's being built right now, right? That's a huge moment. I've got several others, but if you're asking for the top 3, those would probably be.
Yeah, that's
What
amazing.
is the timeline on the turf project?
We've been promised by the first week in August, and they've been moving. I mean, we check out there every day. There is substantial work happening on a daily basis, and that's important that they meet that date, because last year we didn't have home games as a result of this project. So we look forward to bringing that back. As a matter of fact, shout out to alumni president Monica Longmire, who I had a conversation with yesterday evening. We have some plans on. Is that Tony's mom?
That's my auntie. Right?
Come on.
Shout out to auntie.
Shout out to Auntie. We've got some plans in bringing our alumni back for this first game. We want to have special seating for you guys, a special menu, and try to use it as a fundraiser for alumni events in the future to come. So stay tuned. Big events to come from that. Yes.
I've worked at 2 schools that did turf projects, and I know that is not an easy thing. You get down there plumbing.
Yeah, and that was it. The drainage, you got to worry about drainage and everything else.
A whole bunch of stuff. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we gonna pray it's gonna happen.
Fingers crossed.
First week of August. That's what we're speaking to.
Yes.
So, how do you balance honoring tradition while still pushing for growth and innovation?
Oh, that is a great question. Doing things like still having the Thunderbird parades happening in this building, right? That is fun. It still feels to me like it's 1992 when we do things like that. So just making sure that our students understand why we're doing those type of events, and then to see them buy into it and have fun with it as well, it's awesome. So just making sure we bring things like that to have them involved in.
All right, we're gonna switch it up, lightning round here. So we're gonna throw some stuff at you. Give us the first thing that comes to your mind. You can give us a little more, but just whatever comes up first.
Okay.
What was your favorite thing to eat in the cafeteria here?
Y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
Double chicken sandwiches with
sandwiches.
cheese and ketchup, and a double fry with cheese and ketchup.
Wow.
And sometimes the cup of cheese with the pizza, with the rectangle pizza. That was my favorite. Oh, that was my favorite. Like I could do that for lunch right now. They don't have the same vendors anymore. Yeah.
That was a piece of puff.
Piece of puff was good.
It was a piece of puff. Okay. What song instantly takes you back to high school?
Knocking the Boots.
Knocking the Boots.
H-Town.
H-Town.
Yes.
That's a banger.
Yes.
That's still a banger.
Anything Jodeci.
Still a banger.
Yeah.
That's funny.
What about you, Nate? What takes you back?
I was like in my white tee.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, that or any D4L, that Laffy Taffy, all of that is mine.
Their mom was Kanye.
Yeah.
She was some Marvin Gaye. Yeah. That was
also a Twista.
that was my high school era. Yeah, that was my high school era. Yeah.
What was the Twista album?
Overnight Celebrity.
Overnight Celebrity, all that. Yeah. I remember the parking lot, the sounds of that being in the parking lot of that. Yeah. Favorite class?
Radio and TV film, hands down. Teacher, Mr. Greg Tufty, who, by the way, is older, but he still makes his way around here. You guys took a walk around some of the trophy cases he helps us to maintain. He builds tables and stuff still, so it's awesome to see him around.
Do we still have radio and TV?
We do. Mr. Frank Rice is now the teacher of that, and it's in the same location as well. Mr. Rice actually is a former employee of WLS, ABC Chicago, so we're really blessed to have him working with us. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put you out here, but your least favorite class?
Did I have a least favorite class?
Can't say it if you do.
Oh, I'm gonna say it. If I can think of it, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I don't know if I had a least favorite class. Remember, in my era, coming to school was really the time that you got the biggest chance to interact with your friends. So for me, and don't take what I'm about to say wrong, but as A-listers, scholar athletes are kind of on the A-list. Schools are kind of broken down by popularity. As an A-lister, every day was an adventure. It was fun. The only time I missed a day of school was due to the chicken pox. I was 16 and caught the chicken pox. So, but I don't think I had a class that wasn't my favorite. There might have been a teacher or two that we weren't on the same page of. But now being on the other side, I'm not going to disclose that. We'll keep that moving. But no, I love my school experience, honestly.
That's what we were saying upstairs. I'm like, I can't recall too much. I know there was learning going on, right? But it was the social aspect. It was the after school, everything that I can remember, like being in this hallway and what happened and whose girlfriend and boyfriend was arguing over here. Like it's stuff like that comes back easily. Yeah. Did you use your locker?
Yes, and my girlfriends as well.
You had to have a couple options.
That was pretty much the only ones though that we used. And keep in mind, so in my era, I keep saying my era, you guys are dating me with every question. In my era, like I'm an old granddad, we probably had 2,400 students in the building. I don't think you guys probably had like 19, maybe 2,000.
Yeah.
So it was more students, so we were made to have to share lockers. There was not a locker for every person during the time I went to school. Yeah.
So we were privileged.
You guys were privileged.
That's what Reggie was saying. He had pictures in it.
Yeah.
It was very personal.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And then they had the nerve to still have multiple lockers out
did,
there. Like
I
they
did.
had to share, and you just
I had multiple
Ah.
multiple hallways.
What you like.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
right. She was one of those A-listers.
I had prime real estate actually. 'Cause upstairs, where the windows are, like the main hallway, that was where my locker was one of them years, and that was like kind of where everybody congregated. Yeah.
So if you could relive one high school moment, what would it be?
St. Rita game, playoffs.
Okay.
It was 12 below outside. It was snowing. We lost 13-12, and they counted a field goal for St. Rita that did not go through the goalpost.
Wow.
In a heartbeat, that's the day I would go back to.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, that's the day I would go back
Do
to.
you remember what year? What?
1993, it was.
Or the
So that was my senior
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
But remember, playoff football happens October, November-ish, right? So that's why it was so cold and snowing. But yeah, we did not wear shirts under our pads that day. We tried to go out there super macho. And I remember after the game, that loss hurt so bad. That was the second round of the playoffs. The one point we knew they had cheated. I actually had tears. As athletes, you guys know,
yeah,
you
for
had
sure.
sometimes tears. It was so cold that the tears that froze to your face. But yeah, in a heartbeat, y'all.
That gave me chills.
Yeah.
I know how it feels to be
Yeah.
To be cheated.
Yeah.
And you can't roll the tapes.
You can't. They didn't have it available like that in the '90s. So, yeah.
So
What about you guys? What?
I just asked Reggie this. You can go with yours. I'm thinking.
mine's
mine.
is easy.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a 5 overtime game versus Washington, and then a 4 overtime game versus Homewood Flossmoor, back to back to go downstate, play against Patrick Beverly eventually. Like, mine is no brainer.
Were
That
you the
experience.
One, did you have something on your foot, or was that Trey?
That Trey,
Somebody had to go to the hospital afterwards.
Trey was
I
dealing
remember
with, he had
He
something
had
wrong
a
with one of his toes or something
fuzzball
like
on
that.
his-
But he still got out there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we
And were
did
those
his
games
thing.
back to back?
Back to back.
That's nuts.
Back to back. It was.
Did you have to Epsom salt?
Yeah,
on that?
yeah. Like playing against, they had DeAndre Liggins on Washington. Like this guy
Yeah.
played 10
He
plus
went to
years in the
Kentucky.
NBA.
Right.
Yeah, like playing next to LeBron James and
Yeah.
things like that. And for us to go out and do what we did, that was, man, I will never forget those moments, man.
Man.
Yeah.
I have so many. That was a special time for girls basketball here.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of what's happening now because like every year we had multiple Division I players on one team, and that just really wasn't happening. We lost my senior year at Sandburg, and we would always, like, we would get to the sectional finals. A couple years we got to the super sectional, and this year we were playing Sandburg at Sandburg. I had a really good game. Support had a really good game, but it just came down to like a couple possessions towards the end. And I played for a team that was out of Orland Park, and so I knew a lot of those girls. And so
yeah.
it just tore me up. And I had already committed, and so I knew that basketball wasn't over for me at that time, but I knew we had more that we could have accomplished, right?
Remember who was the coach? Who was your coach?
Coach Connor.
Coach
Yeah,
Connor.
Kevin Connor. I
Coach
think he's still
Connor.
here, right? Is he still
He
here?
is.
Okay, he's not here
Actually,
anymore.
Coach Connor is.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got 2 years to go. He's a
Okay.
math teacher.
He's got to be close.
Yeah.
I still see him on social media.
Coach Connor, that was my guy.
Yeah.
That was my guy.
Yeah, that was tough because we had built up to that moment, and it was supposed to happen. And honestly, I believe it was an upset when you look at the seeds and everything, but that was a silent ride home and a silent few days after that.
I know what those feel.
Yeah,
It's
man.
ironic that everybody pointed back to an athletic event, Phil.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And for me, that's one of the reasons we want our students to be involved extracurricularly, not just in athletics, but whether it's the speech team, whether it's culinary arts, whether it's athletics, we want you to be involved because it's those experiences that you're going to end up remembering. And it's sometimes those things that help to plug our students in academically. You know what I mean? So it's ironic that we all went back to an athletic moment.
Yeah.
So question, during your time, where was the area to hang out after school? Where did y'all go?
When
Because a
you
lot of
didn't
this
have
stuff,
practice.
yeah.
So Aurelio's, right here at
Yeah,
Aurelio's.
yeah.
But also, I'm about to date myself big time now. Do you guys remember Chi-Chi's? Oh my God! Yeah, it used to be a place where Applebee's used to be. So before it was Applebee's, it was Chi-Chi's, and then where that wings BW3s is.
Yeah.
Bennigan's. Remember Bennigan's?
Yes.
So Bennigan's,
I remember Bennigan's.
Chi-Chi's, and then Aurelio's were kind of our hangout.
Monte Cristo. You remember
Yes, yes. Ham, turkey, cheese.
Yes,
bacon.
yes. I went to Bennigan's after prom.
Did you?
You went to
Downtown. though.
Yeah,
Not the
okay.
one
I
on
was-
Florence. Not the one.
So you went to the big
Right,
Bennigan's.
right,
All right,
right.
cool.
Yeah, then we got on the boat. We did the whole thing. Our hangout spot, Mr. Sub opened up while I was in high school. We all would go over there. Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
Mr.
Sub.
Yeah,
It's right there.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
that was our hangout.
That's my two, Mr.
And
Sub.
yeah, you know, I got jumped over there. So
Oh,
that
no.
was that was my
Oh, no.
last time hanging out there
I
when
feel
that
like
when that
that's
happened.
an easy spot for people to just kind of shift to.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
McDonald's parking lot was
Yeah,
another one.
I love me some. That was my pre-game meal.
Mickey D's?
Mickey D's, large number 10, double sweet and sour sauce, high C orange.
So let's talk about pregame meals. So in my time, this was before Friday Night Lights, and our games were played on Saturday. So sophomores would play at 10, varsity would play at 1. We'd have to be here at 9 though, because you support the sophomores. So every pregame, at least for the home games, hop in my car, go to Burger King. I'm buying 10 bacon breakfast buddies from BK. Y'all remember the little breakfast? I buy 10 of them, a hash brown and a large OJ, and I would max it, and then I would get a workout in.
All 10 were for you?
Yeah. Wow. I would eat them all. I'd get a light workout in the weight room before I went out to watch the sophomores. Came in, got dressed, and it was on.
Yeah.
What did you eat before your game? Was it a routine? Chinese.
A lunch special. I could not do that if I tried. Now, I don't know
Yeah.
how, like,
Eat and play on it.
Eating
yeah,
plate,
or like,
Metabolism's just
we were
different.
eating like pizza puffs with mild sauce or dipped in cheese
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and then going out and hooping. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how, but that's
And
being
I got the
young.
nerve to tell these kids to put their chips
Exactly.
away and stuff like
Hydrate
that.
yourself.
Yeah,
Usually, flaming
yeah,
hot
You know
with
better, you
cheese.
do that.
yeah,
Right,
100%,
exactly.
100%.
Yeah. One thing that you would tell your favorite teacher if you saw them today. I don't know if you've had that moment.
Thank you
yet.
for making learning fun. I think I've told Mr. Tufty this on several occasions. He really, when we talk about the evaluation tool, and you talk about knowing students, right? Mr. Tufty knew every one of his students to the point where he could joan on you about something personal, but you didn't take it offensively because you knew that he cared about you, right? That's a special skill. Not all teachers have that, and those that do have the potential to reach a student past what you could even think of. And so for many of my classmates, I know Mr. Tufty did that, and I'm appreciative of that.
Wow. Okay, this is a moment of reflection. It might take a while. Think back to 17 or 18-year-old Don. What is one piece of advice that now, with what you know, life that you've experienced, who you are now, what advice would you give 18-year-old Don?
Instant gratification is not the most important thing, and that can support you in every facet of life, from relationships to making money to your eating habits. Instant gratification is not most important, and I would hope that young Don would have heard that
Yeah.
if I said it to him.
Yeah,
Right,
and that's an
right.
important message, like
Yeah.
especially with social media, how big it is today. Like our kids, they just see a lot of people's highlights and
Right.
things like that. They don't understand the journey that it takes to create those highlights. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so now we are invested alumni. We're here as alumni. We want to talk a little bit about alumni programming. How important of a role do you see alumni in the school culture right now?
As it stands right now,
Yeah.
I think our alumni do a good job with coming out and supporting like events. We do a good job of socializing with one another.
Picnic is always.
Picnic, right, is always something great. What I would like to see us begin to move towards, though, is being able to help fund some of the awesome things, right, that happen. So we just talked about this Italy and the Paris trip, right, to being able to fundraise, put aside some funds for scholarships for some of our budding students who have proven themselves. I would just like to see a further investment in our current future. You know what I mean?
And that answered my question, like how do alumni get involved? Like how do we impact the student experience now? So like how would you tell us to be able to make those donations? Like how would we go about doing it?
So one of the first things, and we were just talking to your aunt about this last night, will be when we have that first game. Again, we'll have a special section for our alumni. Holmes is going to be taking care of the food for that event, but we would ask for, and Longmire and I haven't figured this out yet, we'll either ask for donations as people come, or from the alumni group, she'll sell tickets to that event, right, specifically for that. So, and that's just one idea. There are millions of others, but it starts with getting together a strong committee, creating a goal, and making sure that you are meeting constantly to reach that goal. We've got the nucleus to do it. This more effort needs to be done, though, to build that coalition.
What, like, I know the turf project is huge. I know that getting ready for that first game is going to be a huge event. What else should the alumni keep on their radar right now as just ways that we can, this feels huge to have this moment with you and just like open the door to having more conversations about what alumni can do.
And it's full circle for me as well, again, to see you guys here at this stage of you all's lives. It warms my heart. As far as other projects, there potentially is going to be an auditorium project that's going to rival what our sister schools have at TT and TR, so looking forward to that. You know, obviously all of the plays that we have here come out and support that, the athletic events. Anytime we got a drone club where a drone team, our team actually has placed in state, and they're going to be competing nationally in Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
And basically they take this drone through obstacles and see who can maneuver the best, so we got that going on. There's a new gaming club that we started. I don't know if you all knew this, but in 2020, Harvard University began scholarships for EA Sports games, right? So we've got that gaming club here now. So we're looking forward to having students earn scholarships to college with gaming. So we've got a lot of things on the horizon. Again, I think the most important thing, though, would be to organize that committee with the goal of supporting fundraising and supporting some of the things that are happening at the school. That needs to be the next move that we make.
Super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I pray that, you know, I know we got a lot of people that bleed the blue and gold, that we start coming and doing the right things to help our school and help our kids have those experiences that, you know, we wouldn't say necessarily missed out on. We just didn't have those, you know, opportunities at those times. But we gotta do right by our youth. So.
And like you said, when you know better, you do better, right? So
You do better.
my mom always say, money on the wood make whatever look good,
Yeah.
right? So we want to keep on being able to do things for our kids. You got to put your money where your mouth is.
Yep.
I'm sad we're coming to a close, but this has been great. You know, like, I can't say how much I appreciate, like, you being open to meeting with us today. I know it's spring break, but I feel like at any time you would have found time to meet with us and get some time with us. So I feel very, very grateful to have this time with you.
And again, guys, thank you for the opportunity. I want you all to come back once we open that field up, though, so you guys can be the first to kind of do an overview of
we'll
it.
cover it.
Yeah, cover that thing. Cover
Yeah.
that thing.
Oh, you heard it first. We're going to be covering that game. First week.
Right?
Yep, you heard it first.
So silly.
Yep, we claiming it. We claiming it. We got it. But yeah, thank you. Appreciate your time and love everything that you're doing for the blue and gold. And thanks for opening up the doors for us to come back and, have this moment. I think this is big for, what you're trying to get well, not even try, I don't like that word, from what you're accomplishing for this school. So thank you. And thank you to all the listeners out there, and make sure you subscribe. And to all of our alumni, we got to come out. We got to give back and do what we need to do to make sure that our kids, get those experiences that they need to be able to, reach those heights. So for the T-Birds, where we bring more stories from the alumni community.
We're looking forward to meeting with more of you all. Like, share, subscribe. And as an ode to our former principal, I don't know if y'all still do this. Make it a great day or not.
And as always,
Yeah.
go T-Birds.
Yes, sir.
Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.
Y'all have a blessed one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Man,
We did
appreciate
that.
you.
Thank you. That was awesome.